The post-pandemic airport chaos ahead of the great Jubilee getaway. Hundreds more flights are cancelled. The day before the long weekend begins, the airline industry blames the government blames the airlines.
There's been a lack of planning and a lack of preparation for the resurgent demand that was not just predictable, but predicted.
Because of the pandemic and the actions that were taken, they've made the travel industry not a very attractive industry to work in.
With the two sides still arguing, what hope the problems will be fixed anytime soon. Also ahead. Booed leaving court, the Premier League footballer sentenced for abusing his cat. The Prime Minister tells Mumsnet why he's staying in his job despite tough questions about his future after Partygate.
I just cannot see how actually it would be responsible right now, given everything that is going on.
And camping out on the Mall, the loyal royal fans getting ready for the Platinum Jubilee.
She has been loyal and steadfast and committed the whole time.
Everybody's, partying and happy and cheerful and, everybody's making friends and we're here to celebrate.
This is the ITV Lunchtime News with Nina Hussain.
Good afternoon. Who is to blame for the travel chaos at airports? The government says it's the airline industry. The industry says it's the government. Neither side will be able to fix the post-pandemic problems in the short term, meaning the great getaway is getting ever more stressful for those hoping to jet off for the long Jubilee weekend. More than 150 flights have been cancelled so far today. Hamish O'Scary has the latest.
On the eve of a double bank holiday, demand for getaways is high, but airline capacity is not. Across some of the UK's busiest airports, thousands of passengers are experiencing a half-term horror story.
After all the horrible things we've been through over recent years, this was kind of the light at the end of the tunnel, and now it's gone wrong as well.
Victoria queued with her children at Manchester Airport for a flight to Girona, only to be told at 4 a.m. it had been cancelled.
I was kind of thinking to myself at that point, well, they're going to tell me I can fly tomorrow or later on, but it was just, it's cancelled and there are no plans to rearrange it. So just go home.
British Airways has cancelled at least another 120 flights at Heathrow today. At Gatwick, more than 40 EasyJet flights now won't take off either. The Department for Transport has in part blamed the airlines for overbooking and under-preparing.
I think it's clear that there's been a lack of planning and a lack of preparation for the resurgent demand that was not just predictable, but predicted.
But airline bosses say ministers could have done more to encourage workers to return to the industry.
It was the first industry to go into lockdown, the last industry to come out of lockdown. And it's because of those actions that it's no longer got the attraction that it used to have. And I think that's a problem that perhaps the government needs to get involved in solving.
While most passengers will still be able to spend a long-awaited bank holiday on the beach,
back to the security, you head down and on your right-hand side.
It's looking like a week to forget for hundreds of would-be holiday makers with no departure in sight. Hamish O'Scary, ITV News.
For anyone not trying to get away, there's a rather big weekend planned here in the UK. The final preparations are taking place for the 4-day celebration of the Queen's 70 years on the throne. The tents are up on the Mall as the most loyal royal fans grab their spots to witness the Platinum Jubilee party outside Buckingham Palace. For what's going on there and around the country, here's Faye Barker.
It's the day before the Platinum Jubilee celebrations begin, and there is a buzz building on the Mall, as well as rehearsals for events taking place across the 4-day holiday. The Queen's birthday parade, or Trooping the Colour, will kick-start the celebrations from 10 tomorrow morning, and already royal enthusiasts are claiming prime positions. Donna Werner has travelled here from Connecticut.
Everybody's, partying and happy and cheerful, and, everybody's making friends, and we're here to celebrate.
She has been loyal and steadfast and committed the whole time. And she's amazing. Ooh, sorry, we're taking off.
Friends John and Maria have also been braving the elements since Monday.
We got a prime spot. What we did, bring sunblock with us, but it didn't work out. We had paddles instead. We had torrential rain, thunder and lightning, but it's all for the Majesty of the Queen.
Tomorrow the Mall will be packed with people watching the Queen's birthday parade. There will be pomp, there will be pageantry, there will be a special RAF fly past here, and well-wishers will be hoping they'll get a glimpse of the Queen herself from the balcony of Buckingham Palace.
All across the United Kingdom, flags are flying, and in Brampton in Cumbria, even the bollards have had a makeover. These corgi puppets in Coventry will be part of the £15 million pageant on Sunday, a carnival-style event promising to tell the story of the Queen's 70-year reign. And more people than ever have indicated they will be holding street parties or big lunches.
Somewhere in the region of about 200,000 events right across the 4 nations, and so that would look at somewhere around 12 million people. That's really the kind of magnitude that we're looking at.
The Queen herself arrived back in Windsor in the rain yesterday after a stormy flight from Scotland. Harry and Meghan are due to arrive here today as the royals and the nation await this big platinum party. Faye Barker, ITV News.
Oh, well, let's get the very latest now from our royal editor, Chris Shipp. Everything seems to be in place to get this big party started.
Yeah, it certainly does, Nina. And actually, I just saw some of those tents myself on the Mall just now. Quite surprised that people are already camping. Maybe we shouldn't be based on previous Jubilees. But yeah, everything is ready. They've just been doing some very loud rehearsals behind me here at Buckingham Palace for the party that will be going on Saturday night. Luckily, that sound has been turned down just while we speak to you. One of the events that will happen tomorrow, though, is the lighting of beacons, not just in this country, but in the Commonwealth as well. I'm delighted to say the man in charge of those beacons is with us now. Bruno Peake, you are the, what do we call you, pageant master?
Pageant master, Queen's Platinum Jubilee beacons.
There we go. Right, what a mouthful. Now, the principal beacon is one, I'm not sure the viewers can see, it's kind of just behind your head, and it's a different kind of beacon this year. We saw it just last week having its top put on, but do you want to explain to us what the main beacon's going to be?
Part of the Queen's green canopy. But it was felt that we're lighting traditional beacons, around the UK, Channel Islands, and the Commonwealth for the first time. But it was felt that the principal one should be looking forward, because the beacons have been used in the past, and we thought now's the time to look forward, and green is the future.
Beacons were previously flames, of course. This is a tree of living trees, as I recall, right? 350 trees in the tree behind you there. And so, therefore, you're not going to set fire to it. You're going to light it. Or the Queen's going to light it, more importantly, yeah?
Someone's going to light it tomorrow night at 9:45.
Permitted to tell us how, if it is the Queen, if she does come tomorrow, are you permitted to tell us how she's going to light it?
Well, what's going to happen is it'll be used, the lighting ceremony will include the Commonwealth of Nations globe, which has been specially been produced to enable the principal to light the principal beacon. And the Nations globe represents all the previous Commonwealth countries that the Queen has been head of for 70 years. But also the previous Jubilees that she's been responsible for.
Let's talk about previous Jubilee, because we've got some pictures of 2012 when the Queen lit the beacon then, a different kind of beacon. It was a diamond-shaped beacon, as I remember.
It was amazing, and I can remember standing next to her after presenting her with the diamond to actually light it. And when you hear, well, nearly 250,000 people cheering when it was lit, standing next to your monarch, it makes your hair stand on end.
It must be quite something. And what do you think now we've got our first ever Platinum Jubilee? Never before we've had that in this country. What does it mean to you that you've had quite a central role in it in terms of the beacon pageant master? How are you feeling about the whole event?
It's a real honour. It's a real honour. But it's not just about me, it's about all the people around the country and around the world, who want to take part in this event. And we will end up tomorrow night with over 3,500 being lit in local communities by governments, local councils, individuals, organisations, on farms, on stately homes. It's just amazing the people who want to get involved.
It's going to look amazing. We think the first one might be somewhere like Tonga, who are quite a far ahead of us in terms of hours. So
what we wanted to do is to have the first one light in the first Commonwealth country to see the start of the Platinum Jubilee, and then gradually work itself across the world.
And we will tomorrow. So, Bruno, thank you so much. We look forward to it very much indeed. And you can see that beacon lighting tomorrow evening after Trooping the Colour. The Queen, incidentally, is now back in Windsor Castle. She had a bit of a bumpy ride back from Balmoral by all accounts after her plane was caught in a lightning storm, but we're told she's there, safe and sound, and we'll be ready to start the celebrations tomorrow, we hope.
Thank goodness, Chris Shipp, thank you very much. And we'll have much more on the build-up to the Jubilee later on in the programme, when I'll be joined by the great British Bake Off winner Giuseppe Delano with his favourite recipes for the celebrations. And there's a full roundup of what is happening where you are on our website. Go to itv.com/news. First, the Prime Minister is going into the bank holiday weekend with more tough questions about his future. This lunchtime, he was interviewed by Mumsnet, where he said it would not be responsible for him to walk away from his job now. Our political correspondent Daniel Hewitt joins me from Westminster. What exactly did he say, Daniel? And clearly we've got a problem with Daniel's sound there. We will try and get back to that story. First, though, 4 people have been charged with allegedly breaking COVID lockdown rules at the vigil after the murder of Sarah Everard. Several hundred people gathered on Clapham Common in March 2021 after she was killed by a serving Metropolitan Police officer. The police were heavily criticised for their handling of the vigil. The High Court ruled this year that the force breached rights around freedom of speech by blocking the organised event. And a record 2 million people in the UK, just over 3% of the population, are thought to be suffering from long COVID. That's according to the latest figures. More than 800,000 people who first caught the virus around the start of the pandemic have reported symptoms including fatigue and shortness of breath lasting at least a year. And Scotland has become the first part of the UK to implement a ban on single-use plastics as legislation comes into force today. The ban means it will be an offence for businesses in Scotland to provide the items, which include plastic cutlery, plates and stirrers. OK, let's go back to the story about what Boris Johnson has been telling Mumsnet about his future. I was trying to speak to Daniel Hewitt, our political correspondent. Let's try to return to him. What exactly did the Prime Minister have to say, Daniel?
It's great to be back, Nina. Thanks for having me. It's a long weekend ahead for Boris Johnson, longer than most on this bank holiday weekend. He's not sure what awaits him on the other side. Speculation been growing here in Westminster that enough Tory MPs, 54, will write a letter of no confidence in him, triggering a leadership vote. Today, though, he's been speaking to the website Mumsnet and their subscribers, and he's been facing some pretty punchy questions from the good people of Mumsnet. To give you a flavour, the first question was, why should we believe anything you say when it is proven you're an habitual liar? The Prime Minister said he doesn't agree with that characterisation, but he did go on to say that he'd been contemplating his position right now, and this is what he had to say.
I thought about all these questions a lot, as you can imagine, and I just cannot see how actually it would be responsible right now, given everything that is going on, simply to abandon the project on which I embarked.
I get that, but
level up.
A lot of our users will say if you've lost the trust of the people and your government has lost the trust, then you can't possibly be an effective Prime Minister.
Well, I mean, let's see about that.
Well, the whole of Westminster right now is seeing about that, waiting and seeing whether this vote of confidence may or may not happen. Today, Lord Haywood, a Conservative peer, an expert in elections, he says that he believes a vote of no confidence is now pretty much inevitable, that it could come as early as next week or maybe after the by-elections in Wakefield and Tiverton at the end of June.
Daniel Hewitt, thank you very much. Thank you. The Premier League footballer Kurt Zouma was booed as he left court earlier after being sentenced for animal abuse. The West Ham defender has been ordered to carry out 180 hours of community service for kicking and slapping his pet cat. He's also been banned from keeping cats for 5 years. Chloe Keedy was in court this morning. Chloe, what was said?
Well, the judge described the behaviour of both Kurt Zouma and his younger brother, Johan, who filmed the abuse, as disgraceful and reprehensible. They are both professional footballers, and she said they must know that lots of young people look up to them. Well, Kurt Zouma didn't react at all as his sentence was read out, but as you say, he was booed as he walked away from court. We heard today that he's received racist abuse and death threats as a result of this case since that video was posted online. Now, we're not going to show you the worst bit of it, but it shows the West Ham defender essentially drop kicking his cat across the kitchen floor before chasing it, throwing a shoe at it, and later slapping it around the head. Well, this prosecution was brought by the RSPCA, and their spokesperson gave me his reaction to the sentence.
I do believe it will act as a deterrent because it is quite a significant community order that's been handed down. And what we want this case to serve as a reminder that animals should be treated with compassion, respect, and that animal cruelty will not be tolerated.
Well, they say they are now focused on rehoming Kurt Zouma's cats. I'm afraid they are asking people not to get in touch about that, as they say they've already had lots of offers. Kurt Zouma, meanwhile, goes back to his day job as a Premier League footballer. His club, West Ham, did again today condemn his behaviour, but said, we hope everyone will allow Kurt the chance to learn from his mistake and move on.
Chloe Keedy, thank you very much. Let's return now to the Jubilee celebrations, and before we meet my guest, let's see him in action.
I think it's beautiful. Well done.
Giuseppe Delano, the brilliant winner of last year's Great British Bake Off. The Italian star is one of the famous faces supporting the big Jubilee lunch, which is part of the official celebrations. I'm a tiny bit excited to say that he joins me now. Welcome, welcome. Focaccia at the ready. What will you be baking this weekend? How will you be celebrating?
I've got a few ideas of what's going to be in action this weekend in my kitchen. Focaccia is an ideal example of what you can get and share with your neighbors, within your community. This weekend, exactly this weekend, and the big Jubilee lunch is an excellent initiative. I should say that I'm very excited to see my name in the big list of names that they've put together. I mean, I'm shoulder to shoulder with literally baking royalty there. Jamie Oliver.
But you are baking royalty now.
Wow.
Fast, you know, rewind a few months and you weren't, and then all of a sudden you deserve to be there. Key question, that smells amazing. Have you perfected your focaccia recipe? Because you've been talking about that online, haven't you?
Well, I haven't touched it ever since it got me the Paul Hollywood handshake, and I wouldn't dare changing it any further. So that's exactly what this is. It's been baked yesterday, so it might be slightly out of freshness, but it should still taste good.
You brought us so much joy last year with your baking, but also your personality. Look, that smile. You didn't stop smiling in that really stressful environment. How has it changed your life?
Well, I'm in a TV studio on the news, so it has changed my life, definitely. I gave up my ambitions of moving back closer to the family in Milan, and I'm now fully relocated to Bristol with a family, and I'm very happy about it. I mean, I want to get the most out of this opportunity, and I'm enjoying every second of it.
You're going to bring a bit of Milan back here, though, aren't you? Because you've got a recipe book out. It's not out yet, but it will give us a real taste of proper family Italian cooking.
That's the idea. I mean, that is, to my eyes, that is not simply a stack of recipes. Each single recipe for me is a memory, and it's almost surreal to see something that we used to have as a mid-afternoon snack, elevated to the role of being worthy of being part of a cookbook and be photographed by, professional photographers.
And since your competition, there's been another big one to design the platinum pudding, which is a trifle. Is that really fitting for this country to go with that particular pudding for this big celebration?
It's a trifle. It couldn't get any more British than that. Actually, in Italy, we've got something that is similar to a trifle that we call zuppa inglese, because it's like the cousin of the British trifle. It's a complicated bake, but what I would say for this weekend, it doesn't have to be that complicated. It doesn't have to be perfect either. As long as it brings people together, that's what the street parties are about. And I had my first one 10 years ago. I loved it. I got to meet all my neighbors. So it's not too late to just get engaged. Use the collection of recipes at bigjubileelunch.com. They're free for everybody, and it's a perfect opportunity.
So from Milan, lives in Bristol, the Italian trifle or the UK one? Just tell us straight away which you prefer.
They're both very good. The Italian one is more sugary and full of coffee, as Italians would do it. The English one is more subtle.
Oh, Giuseppe, ever the diplomat. My goodness me, just choose one. Congratulations and all your success. It's been a joy to meet you, a real pleasure. Thank you. Finally, a royal tribute on a much smaller scale than the big street parties and the big lunch and the huge celebrations in the capital. Tiny models of the royal family, including a miniature majesty, are on display, made up of more than 18,000 Lego bricks. Willem Marks has this report.
This week outside Buckingham Palace, Jubilee plans are proceeding on an epic scale. Close to Windsor Castle, similar preparations are perhaps smaller but no less precise. This is how Legoland marks 7 decades on the throne.
To commemorate and celebrate the Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee, our fantastic team of expert model makers have been hard at work over the last few months building some bricktastic mini models around the royal family.
The brickwork may sometimes be a little basic, but there's no denying the building skill here. The red arrows and their famous smoke make an appearance, above miniature picnickers and partygoers alike.
So you've got lots of people sort of celebrating, waving flags. It's a bit of fun that we're trying to create, and some funny little scenes as you go around and spots as you go around the clusters.
Some 18,000 pieces of plastic producing this platinum pomp. Those responsible hoping many thousands more people will make a visit to this miniature marvel in the days to come. Willem Marks, ITV News.
That's it. Mary will be back at 6:30 from me. Bye-bye.
Today in some places it could be pouring, but don't worry, it'll only be in very isolated areas. Heinz Salad Cream sponsors ITV National Weather.
Hello there. So today marks the start of the meteorological summer, and it will certainly be feeling a little warmer as we go through the next few days, albeit the weather fairly mixed at times. Now for the rest of this afternoon, once again it's a mixture of sunshine and showers. Some of those showers could be heavy, possibly thundery across some eastern areas too, but hopefully more of us will see more of that sunshine compared to yesterday, so feeling warmer out there, highs of 20 degrees. Now as we go through this evening, eventually those showers will fade out of the way, and for most of us dry with clear skies as we edge overnight. A few pockets of mist and fog will be forming and turning chilly too, especially across some rural parts. So that means for tomorrow morning it will be a cool start to the day on Thursday. We are expecting some outbreaks of rain across parts of Northern Ireland, but elsewhere, give or take the odd shower. For most of us it's a fine looking picture, plenty of sunshine and feeling even warmer. This time we're looking at highs there of 21 or 22 degrees. Bye-bye.
Heinz Salad Cream sponsors ITV National Weather.
Ever dreamt of running your own business? It might be easier to achieve than you think. With a franchise, you start with a proven business model and the support of an established brand. Visit the British and International Franchise Exhibition on the 17th and 18th of June at Olympia, London. Meet the brands, take advantage of free expert advice, and find out how to build a better future. Get your free tickets today at franchisetickets.co.uk.
the way you make me feel. That's just the way you make me feel. That's just the way you make me feel.
Deliveroo presents The Arrival. Time to make the burger your burger. Deliveroo. Food. We get it.
Watch it come to life. Inhale its aroma. Taste its perfection. Hear its gentle crack. Awaken your senses with Lindt Excellence from the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
Have you thought of claiming compensation after an accident? If you've been injured in a road traffic accident, an accident at work, an accident anywhere, it's your right to claim. You could be entitled to thousands of pounds in compensation. Talk to Harris Fowler's friendly and professional team on 0800 213 214. It's no win, no fee. Call 0800